Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC studio, where EXCEL Esports are coming fresh off an impressive 2-0 weekend to keep the winning streak going versus Mad Lions. It's going to be difficult, but I actually think they can do it. EXCEL, you know, they're on a roll, and we've asked this question so many times. Is it, are you jumping on the EXCEL hype train, yes or no? And I would be inclined to say, I'm staying on this train, baby. What about you, Medic?
Yeah, I think I'm on the train right now. Of course, the chat can join us as well by spamming yes or no if they're in the EXCEL train. You can see Nukeduck is conducting it right there. I'm gonna say I'm on the train. It's not often that EXCEL get a winning streak going, but last week they looked pretty convincing in their 2 wins, especially with the addition of Markoon and Advienne. I'm
sorry, but like these little heads just popping up out of this is so cute. Wow.
Your microphone might not be plugged in, Vedius.
This next game is called Is Vedius Mic Plugged In?
Yes or no? There we are. Right,
there we
fixed it.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm here, right?
This is how trains work, naturally. But what I think is really interesting is the weight and the importance of this, because EXCEL, for those that don't know, and I don't know how you don't know, EXCEL have never made playoffs, ever. They've been in the league since the beginning, I believe it was 2018, 2019? 18. The beginning of 2018. And since then, they've gone through a variety of different rosters, Cadril being one of them, to the butt of many jokes. But I think that they have struggled. They've kind of come in with promises and expectations about how, like, at first, you remember the 2-year plan, which then was the 3-year plan, and then there was the new iterations of the roster. And I think that, like, they've always had pretty good pieces at times, but they've never quite had a good roster. But it seems like that we're now getting close to a roster that seems very complete and very strong for EXCEL.
And I have to say, this is what I think in terms of bringing in Advienne and Markoon. This is, for me, the best kind of change I've seen out of EXCEL in a very long time, because I always was left wanting with the other changes, and I wanted a bold change. I wanted, you know, trust in players that came from Academy. I wanted, you know, just a bold claim, and I think these players have showed that they deserve to be given that spot in their first week.
They definitely have. Their first week performance together was exceptional, in my opinion. They spent a huge amount of time together. You could see how much Advienne was teaming up with Markoon in the early game to make things happen, and the fact that Markoon was willing to tower dive caps at like level 4, at level 6, just showed how confident this guy is on stage. It was a superlative performance by them. And my only worry is perhaps people will be a little bit more aware of how good they are coming into this week.
I think that the aggression that we're seeing is something that we never really got to see before. Dan was kind of set to be this hyper-aggressive jungler that when he came on stage wasn't really able to replicate that, whereas Markoon hasn't struggled with that at all. As he mentioned in his interview, and he was super energetic in his interview as well, where he was talking about how, like, he wants to dive in every single wave, he wants to make plays, and then Nukeduck in the mid game was kind of like reining him back in just a little bit, but they seem to have found that perfect balance of Nukeduck and Patrik, veteran players that have leaps and bounds of skill, combined with Advienne and Markoon that are just ready to go make plays and make stuff happen. And it seems to be such a fantastic combination that this EXCEL roster is now one you have to keep your eyes on.
And when it's going good for EXCEL, you know, we have to check in with Vedius's mom, who, if you also maybe don't know, is that, you know, she's a huge fan. British orc, she's trying to follow everything, but she was a little unhyped, I think, or underhyped when they weren't doing that well. Is that fair to say?
I mean, my mom has wanted like half that roster benched since last year. She's very critical and strong opinions of this roster, but she's super excited right now. She loves the fact that they beat G2. She doesn't quite figure out that G2 are bad right now. Fine. But regardless, she's like really amped. Yeah, my mom's super excited. She's watching right now. Hi, Mom. Yeah, she's really excited to see them play.
And let's see what the people thought at home as well. So we have 36% yes.
I don't blame people for this. I'll be honest.
Okay.
They went 2-0 last week against a struggling G2 and Vitality they beat last week. If they can keep it going today, if they can beat Mad Lions, who are fresh off a very good performance versus Misfits last week, then I will be more confident in EXCEL. But I don't blame you for not buying your tickets right now.
Yeah, I really like it that you brought us back down to earth rather. And it is, of course, our job to talk when teams are doing well and to talk them up. And I think they deserve the benefit of the doubt. But as you said, this game, final note, is going to be the most important one, I think, in their recent games.
Footage, I think, is the most important thing. Because when you have a new roster, you're coming in with a brand new sense of play, a brand new identity. But now teams have had a week to prep for it. Let's see how Mad, who are kind of the kings of prep, deal with this new EXCEL roster.
Let's see the EXCEL hype train. Is it coming home? Is it going to the UK? Okay, that would be the same thing. But the EXCEL hype train is now heading full speed towards playoffs. But if Elyoya pops off like last week, it can quickly fall off the tracks. Before we get to the casters, here's a look back at his Viego versus Misfits.
TP. Here it has counter TP, but Armut's TP is back off now as well, and Armut's engaged in the top lane. Humanoid trying to dive in onto Kobe. The solar flare does land a stun, but it's only onto Razork. Meanwhile, on the front line, Banda just tanking up for days. Razork diving in, all on his lonesome there because VTO is coming for the chase as well, but Razork is already dead. Kobe in a 1v3, he's going to lose that one as well. VTO gets one, now the counter TP comes in as Hirit is going to join the party, but Hirit, can he do enough? Kaiser has the stun, Hirit locked up, goes in, knocks him up, but can't quite get the damage. Carrzy has gone from nothing to on a rampage in a heartbeat. VTO's going to land the chains, but he is stunned up. Elyoya gets the kill, and Mad Lions pounce in the bottom lane.
And that is an ace.
The mist devours. Better point down. Fall beneath my blade. I take waste now. Know your place. All this carnage, I do it for you.
Let's go! Troubleshot back at the Castles for EXCEL taking on Mad Lions. And this is a really, really interesting game as we start the second half of summer because EXCEL have already beaten Mad Lions and EXCEL took down G2, just last week. And there's one win separating these teams. Is it coming home? I never ever believe that it is, but for EXCEL, they may be setting it up to make playoffs.
I mean, that's what they said about, beat the EXCEL, the academy team, right? And they made the Masters finals in a very convincing fashion. So having two of their players now in the roster that made grand finals might be the game changer.
And of course, for Mad Lions on the other side, this is a game that will be played online. If you are just joining us, games 1, 3, and 5 will be in the studio. 2 and 4 will be online for Mad. Coming off of MSI, where they did look impressive and definitely gained a lot of fans, a lot of support, kind of off to a slow start, Problems as we see in the beginning of summer, but we've heard multiple players, multiple members of the support staff talking about it's a ramp up. They are taking it a little bit easier, but you will start to run out of time as we're now in the second half. We're in week 5, there's only a few weeks left.
Yeah, you can talk about burnout all you want, you can cancel scrims all you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't perform and you don't make playoffs, all this talk, I don't know about it.
And this game, by the way, because Mad Lions are down 0-1, could be hugely influential as we get to the end of summer. Now let's turn our attention to the draft. EXCEL will be on the blue side, Mad Lions on the red. We saw Gwen and Viego in the jungle in our previous game. What do you think will be letting through this time around, and who do you expect to be wielding maybe one of those champions? Do you think they get banned? Should they be banned?
Usually there's other OP champions and more influential in the early game that don't want to go through, such as the Akalis, the Zinzaos, Thresh, Lucian, a lot of these picks. So I think that Viego and Gwen could very well go through here.
Okay, and then of course when we turn our attention to the players, Dan is the man. It was Dan Xinjiao that really kind of invaded and held Elyoya back the last time.
2 solo bolos, Trevor. 2 of them.
Can he do it again? Can Dan have that early game impact to set up the rest of the team?
I don't know about Dan, but Markoon might.
Oh, we'll find out. Thank you very much, Markoon, of course, replacing Dan this time round. I took a week off last week. Apologies, everyone. And it's going to be Nocturne straight out of the pool. I think Xin Xiao is one of the champions that's continued to raise in popularity. He's going to be taken away this time round. And for me, my eyes are going to be on Elyoya, of course, one of the players that had hugest influence in spring. A little bit of a quieter start this summer.
So the Volibear ban here is very interesting because it's one of the best champions for Markoon. But when Elyoya doesn't feel comfortable in a meta, he will tend to resort back to the Volibear, where is his most comfortable champion. So they're trying to take comfort away from Elyoya, possibly trying to attack him again.
Okay, and of course Elyoya is definitely probably the scariest member of Mad Lions during the course of the early game. The Thresh will be denied from Advienne. You're talking a lot to me about Advienne and how you expect him to kind of babysit, kind of hold Patrik's hands, compliment him in many ways. A lot of pressure on him to maybe help EXCEL. And there's the first ban from Viego, taken away from the pool. There's still a number of very high priority champions. So where do EXCEL look for their first pick?
I mean, you can look at Lucian, you can look at Twisted Fate, you can look at the Diana, the Gwen if it doesn't get
banned away.
It got banned away. So again, you have the Lee Sins, the Renekton's, the Lucians.
And ding, 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 going to be the Lee Sin locked in.
I think locking in something very strong for Kryze that you could potentially put into other lanes, into the hands of Nukeduck or Markoon, is very important because we saw how influential Lee Sin was in the hands of Genax in the previous game. So, you know you're not going to necessarily have the counter pick in one of your lanes being blue side as EXCEL, so making sure you get one of these strong champions in the early is so important.
And of course, Markoon did play Lee Sin last weekend. Managed to pick up a win, get 19 KDA. We've not seen Kryze play that champion yet. Whereas on the other side, Carrzy will lock in that Kalista. It's one of those picks that you really associate with Carrzy, and Kaiser is one that you have to respect and fear. And it'll also be a challenge to see how Patrik and Advienne want to deal with that in lane.
That's going to be so important because Patrik and Advienne want to play lane. Carrzy and Kaiser, oh, we know they want to play the lane. And by locking in the Kalista, they're making it a statement that they want to stomp, they want to play aggressive, they want to find the kills.
Who will they complement that Kalista with? The Diana has now been locked in for Elyoya. There's something you were talking about. Oh, Patrik locks in the Draven. And when I think about all the bot laners here in EU, Draven and Hans Summer traditionally go hand in hand. But Patrik also has played a lot and is one of his favorite champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been banned against him in the past as well when a team plays the Kalista. But you only have 6 bans here, Trevor. You can't be banning potentially the Draven as well. Again, I'm on the so-so train for the LeBlanc, especially when she's been when she's being picked that early. But again, Nukeduck and Markoon have been playing so well together in the early game that if this Lee Sin ends up jungle, they could make a lot of plays onto Elyoya.
And if that is the case, then what does Kryze run in the top lane? And of course, if you keep Humanoid pressured on that Twisted Fate, you reduce his ability to impact the rest of the map. You know, attack the global, jump onto that TF. Jax is being banned away, so I think Mad Lions may be anticipating that Lee Sin going jungle.
I have an idea.
Yes.
Resident Sleeper top lane, Tahm Kench versus Mundo.
Tahm Kench versus...
I mean, Mundo here would be so strong in the top lane for Kryze because he already has a Banshees as his passive, which means that the second the Twisted Fate lands into his lane, same as Olaf, right? You can't pop him, you can't gold card him, so you can't stand him in place.
Ooh, the power of the hot zap. Will we see that locked in as Tarek will be the next champion banned away? One of the possible compliments to Kaiser. Now, where do Mad Lions take this? I wonder if we'll see that. We haven't seen a lot of Mundo since his rework, of course, and I'm going to have to try to remember all the new spell names instead of the old ones. But I do like the possibility here. You've got a lot of pick potential on both sides, a huge amount of ability to move around and reposition in fights. And much like the previous game, I feel like whoever's going to initiate first could come away in the advantageous position. Renekton banned away next. What is that setting up for Armut in the top lane? Because both of these teams, they're really biding their time here, Trouble.
And I'm wondering, like, if you were not sure that Kryze is playing the Lee Sin, which I think is the case for Mad Lions right here, the banning champions, such as the Jax and the Renekton, my thought process was Camille, but obviously EXCEL caught up to that and they banned it away for Armut. So I'm like, do you swap and put your Lee Sin up top and potentially go with a different jungler for Markoon? And who does he resort to? Because his 3 most played is Zinzao, Diana, and Volibear. They're all gone.
Yeah, they absolutely are. The Leona's now locked in for Kaiser, his most played champion of summer. 4 games previously, 3 of them wins. But I love this with the Kalista, with the Diana, with the threat
So much all in.
of a Twisted Fate being able to Destiny in behind. And that's the Mundo. You talked about it. You said how it would complement and how it can work against, well, really sort of any of these engagers. And the Alistar now with Patrik in the bottom lane. Okay, zoom out.
I see blood. I see so much blood all over the place. The LeBlanc, the Lee Sin, the Draven, the Diana, the Kalista, the Twisted Fate. They all want blood, Trevor.
Who's going to be able to pick it up? As Armut will have the
Gnar is
last
very cute.
pick.
He doesn't want blood.
Okay, let's zoom out. So, a lot of skirmish power on both sides, but who do you think is going to be able to act first or, you know, pull the trigger at an earlier stage.
So technically Twisted Fate has the advantage in the mid lane because it's much easier with his mana pool and his spells to push through. You need to use your double with LeBlanc, which eats a lot of mana and a lot of your mobility, so you have to be careful. So I'm definitely expecting Humanoid to try to push in the wave just so he can keep Nukeduck in his lane so he can make plays with Markoon. And level 6, you pull the trigger and you go bot lane and you destroy that Draven.
Oh, go bot lane, try jump onto Draven. And of course, Markoon may want to try and impact that. If he can punish Humanoid, if he can impact that lane. What about this Mundo versus Gnar? This is a matchup that is obviously very new with the Mundo rework. As not champions, we see a huge amount. We'll be able to draw our attention to it in just a moment or two. A reminder that both of these teams sitting in the middle of the standings. Right now, Mad Lions 5 wins, 4 losses. EXCEL 4 wins, 5 losses, and it's EXCEL that currently own the head-to-head. Who will step up first? It's time for EXCEL versus the Mad Lions. Timing was just off on that video. We're going to hit the rift. And interesting little tidbit as EXCEL are set up for any potential plays here. Waiting for
Kryze's Mundo down there.
Going to be able to connect with the cleaver, and Kaiser forced to flash. That's very, very valuable for EXCEL.
That was insane because Nukeduck was around, he could level up the chain, they could actually get a first blood. Getting a first blood on Patrik's Draven was going to be absolutely disastrous for Mad. And now, whilst Mad want to play aggressive, not having the flash onto the Leona might be very dangerous for them pushing down the lane.
Yeah, especially for those very early, laning trades, and whether or not Markoon or Nukeduck can be able to come and help out. But EXCEL in level 1s, that is something that is as old as time, especially since Youngbuck has joined. I was saying a little quick stat here for you. Trouble, this is both EXCEL and Mad Lions' 100th LEC game.
Who's gonna get to celebrate?
Well, we'll find out, but what I find interesting is when you look at the statistics that they have. Obviously, Mad Lions 55 wins, but when you look at the kills and the deaths, Mad Lions significantly higher on the kill count, and that's not going to be a big surprise to any long-time viewers. EXCEL have historically been a little more passive, a little bit more reserved. For a while, I remember them scaling for late game almost every game. But they can't do that today, and they definitely can't do that with this comp.
Oh, absolutely no. We saw how unimpactful LeBlanc is if you don't use her in the early game, if you don't get some kills onto her, get her going. But Nukeduck has generally been such a lane-dominant player, and he's actually been doing really well in this current iteration of the EXCEL roster, that I think he can press a Humanoid. He can trade him instead of trying to push down the wave, and then you force Humanoid underneath his tower.
Of course, he'll need some time before he's able to fully do that. You can already see Humanoid starting to push the wave just a little bit forward. Kaiser and Carrzy level 1 for the time being. Patrik and Advienne able to push them forward. Kaiser losing that flash will have minor impact on his early trades. And while that's going on, no surprise to see Mini Gnar pushing into a low-level Mundo, pulling up a small advantage, but pretty good trade here from Armut as he chunks down Kryze.
It's usually the pick that you go on. Back then when we had the Orns in the top lane, the Malphites, all that jazz, the Scions, you would pick Gnar because the Mini Gnar is just a big bully to whatever tank you're playing against. A little bit of HP, a little bit of armor, that's nothing that that won't be able to fix for Kryze. He just has to play the weak side here, and that's no surprise because Armut does like to have the upper hand in the top lane for Mad.
Yeah, he really does. And of course, when you look at this EXCEL composition, Nukeduck and Patrik, well, you have to do a lot of work here when you contrast sort of the damage profiles with the Gnar, the Diana, the TF, significantly more to play with, but then your front line, right, for EXCEL. And the first ones to move is going to be Nukeduck and Markoon making their way down bottom. Kaiser is flashless and level 2, and a gigantic minion wave. That's the flash engage, knock up onto Carrzy. He goes down. First blood to Patrik. and EXCEL. It's traded back by Kaiser. Teleports coming in as Nukeduck takes a tower shot. The boomerang from Armut won't find a target. Nukeduck still got that flash available. 1-for-1, but first blood to Patrik.
Oh, that is very important that this Draven is getting killed so early on, because if you look on the other side, it is Kaiser that cashed in onto that gold, which doesn't matter too much. What, he's gonna get 1 more, 2 pink wards? That's fine, but Patrik coming into lane with a serrated Dirk is going to incredibly hurt Karz's HP bars. And look at that, Carrzy had to burn his flash. Patrik can now play aggressive because he has both of his summoners available. Humanoid burn TP, Armut had to burn TP, which also gives Kryze so much room to breathe up top lane, pushing the wave, grab some CS and experience.
I mean, that is huge when you actually look at those teleports. The potential as Kryze has just hit level 5.
They can do it again. Look what Carrzy is.
Now, Carrzy used the heal on the dive, still has that flash available, and now it has been blown. Markoon was waiting in the wings, but Advienne with a very good setup. And tell me a little bit more about Advienne, because when we were preparing for the cast, you were talking a lot about how he likes to sort of focus on the lane and how he can really benefit Patrik.
I think he's a very different breed for your Hilisangs, your Trimbys, your Mickey X's. He likes to facilitate for his ADC and he likes to win lane. Don't get me wrong, he'll roam when he has to, but he's not a heavy roamer. And I think with Patrik, who's a veteran in the scene, who likes to play for his lane, who plays picks such as the Draven that wants to dominate that early phase, it is so important to have a support like this. And instead of your support playing for your jungler, it's Markoon going down to the bot lane to get kills for Patrik with his teammate Advienne.
I mean, Patrik right now, 1-0. He's got himself double the CS.
Almost 1k ahead, almost 1k.
At 5 minutes.
That's
5
insane.
minutes. And Carrzy and Kaiser, the wave is still pushing away from them. This is such a difficult scenario.
Stuck. He has no summoners. Carrzy has no summoners. Kaiser has no summoners. This is bleeding. The mad bot lane is bleeding, and that should be the one that is actually ahead, because you have to snowball your Kalista. He's half CS behind.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Now, what can EXCEL do with this advantage? There's a 200 gold lead for now, as they aren't able to accelerate just yet. Both Nukeduck as well as Elyoya making their way to that river up above this bottom lane. Level 6 is picked up as well, and a big trade coming out here. Humanoid and Nukeduck are going back and forth, and look at the minimap. First bot lane to move will be EXCEL's. Markoon trying to get away from Elyoya and uses the blast cone to safety. Now Elyoya's on the wrong side of the rift. Patrik steps forward. That's the flash already. Stand aside, continues to chase. Advienne's looking for the knock-up or the stun. Kaiser is going to look for the Q as well. Not going to fire it out just yet. An EXCEL chase, but I don't think they'll find anything more. But EXCEL are on the hunt.
I think this is the 3rd flash that Advienne has been able to blow from a Mad Lions player. It was first Carrzy, which they killed. It was then Kaiser. Now it's Elyoya. They found him in the jungle, and Humanoid pulls the trigger on the ult, but with the threat of Nukeduck in his face, he can't actually pull the trigger to find Markoon. And then EXCEL turned this around beautifully. I think they're playing their early game so well. We talked about the aggression. Markoon is there again.
Yeah, look at this pressure. Carrzy and Kaiser running for their lives. No teleports available. It's a knockback there onto Kaiser, and the support from Elyoya means EXCEL back away. Nukeduck actually teleported for this. I didn't quite see exactly where, but it will be able to unlock a little bit more pressure. Deny the CS, deny the experience. Kaiser gets caught. He flashes to safety. The Crescent comes out there from Elyoya, and Kaiser, 200 HP, will not be hit for that last shot. While that's going on, Humanoid's pushing the mid lane.
Yeah, I just don't understand why Nukeduck would TP right there. They were way too far from him. He TPs underneath the tower when they're already into tier 2. It was a little bit overzealous right there, but Patrik is technically playing frontline, and no one can punish him because he still has both his summoners available. And even though, yeah, it's questionable that Nukeduck TP'd away, the thing with LeBlanc is she's not all about that CS. It's about finding the opportunities to get kills early into the game, to be very relevant, to be scary. Uh-oh.
Let's see, is there
Oh no, Carrzy.
Just yet. There's no support. The damage is backing away. Damage is backing away from EXCEL. So, gigantic lead for Patrik still. This is his 11th game on Draven. He's played 10 prior. Only picked up 3 wins on the pick on the stage. But this time round, has so much support and so much focus from the rest of EXCEL. The question I have to ask is this lead going to be enough? Will this generate them the pressure or the control in the mid game to allow EXCEL to pull ahead?
You have a monster in the making in the top lane. He's about 14 CS ahead, but if he gets what he has in there, he's going to be like 6 or maybe 7 CS behind, which is fine. You're playing in a weak side top lane at this point. Markoon is pretty much even with Elyoya. You have Nukeduck, who is honestly gonna fall behind as a LeBlanc because she did try to roam, and then bot lane is where the money's at. Because look at the inventory of Patrik. 8 minutes in, an eclipse has been completed.
That is absolutely ridiculous. And I want to see how he uses this, because Advienne has been able to set up so many plays to generate that 1,000 gold lead. The potential for using those teleports from EXCEL kind of fizzled. Nukeduck made that play down bottom, but Carrzy is managing to stay now within touching distance. It's 15 CS. The tower is still standing.
Ooh, I love this. I love this. You deny it away from a Kalista that's starving, and then when you get the Rift Herald, you go down bot lane, you pop it onto the Draven, but look down bot lane as I'm talking about it. Look who is down there in this bush and waiting. He is going to be the Diana who's lurking to see if he can find anything, trying to help Carrzy and Kaiser push, because Carrzy still doesn't have his flash available.
No, not just yet. It will be in just a moment, though. The first dragon is up as well, and first recalls are starting to be completed. Elyoya will jump onto this dragon, and it looks like Mad would be able to peel if needed. And Mad Lions, I think, are going to be relatively comfortable here. It's even gold. They'll be able to pick up this dragon uncontested. And despite how sort of scary that Draven was starting to feel, it hasn't absolutely blown out the water. And that means that Humanoid plus Elyoya plus potentially Armut with their TPs and Destinies, now they can look to be proactive, maybe make their own plays.
A global is always going to be scary, especially because this specific one from Twisted Fate gives so much vision as well. And vision is always key. This is why Nocturne came into the meta as well. Denying vision, getting vision in this instance with the Twisted Fate. And they're looking potentially for a play ball, because if you look at the position of Kaiser, he's not allowing Patrik and Advienne to get anywhere near. Luckily for EXCEL, Markoon is pathing down bot lane. He still has the Rift Herald. They could potentially look for a gank down bot, punish Kaiser for not having his flash up available, then pop the Rift Herald, get the tower for Patrik.
Well, let's see where that goes. Markoon for now trying to help out Nukeduck, but none of the skill shots will find their target. So Humanoid escapes with his life. Mad Lions have got plenty of vision down in that bottom lane. And I'm going to draw your attention very quickly to some Humanoid stats, because as a player, he's got pretty good kills plus assists for the mid lane. 15 minutes, that's first. But interestingly, his lane percentage is actually the lowest. So this is a player that normally does move around the map, does like to roam, and he's been held in lane, or at least has stayed in lane because of how Nukeduck has been moving this time around.
Exactly. Again, he doesn't go for the CS. Nukeduck wants to push Humanoid underneath his tower by trading with him. And if LeBlanc is good at something, he's trading at you 1v1, especially when it's against another enchanter. Talking about Humanoid though, look where Markoon is. Humanoid has the TP, but he's not allowed to TP into the fight.
Absolutely cannot. The Rift Herald has been summoned, just like you were talking about, Trouble. This will get the boop onto the tower and managed to share some of the gold. Was looking for Elyoya, no engage opportunity. 1.2k onto the Draven, but pretty much even everywhere else except the mid lane, where Humanoid is currently 1,000 gold up on Nukeduck.
Watch Humanoid moving around the map. They're looking to possibly pull the trigger for a Destiny down bot lane, but a very good pink ward from the side of EXCEL in the pixel bush is going to stop that. Patrik's also going to use his ultimate to push down the wave so they don't have to move too close and get punished. And every single time Elyoya has tried to find an opening down bot, EXCEL are just not giving them an inch.
No, they absolutely aren't. And EXCEL really tried. You know, they really pushed this advantage as far as possible. And Mad Lions have been able to escape, relatively speaking, unscathed. When you think of how many ganks and how much pressure has come down to this bottom lane. Carrzy, by the way, still doesn't have that mythic, but he will be able to back relatively soon, I think. Be able to pick that one up, and Elyoya is still fishing. Elyoya, he's got himself a small advantage with both the level and the creeps, but he hasn't yet found influence, but I don't think that's terrible, because you know that Diana's going to be fantastic once we get to the mid-game, the skirmishes and the team.
Absolutely. She provides you with engage, she provides you with CCs, she can literally just jump straight up onto the Draven, and that cleanse will do absolutely nothing for Patrik to help him get out. So Diana will come online later on. She will have her Hourglass as well to stay alive in the fight. But for now, every time Elyoya has tried to find something, he hasn't been able to. Good for him though. For Markoon, it's the same exact thing.
Absolutely is. Very big trade here in the top lane. Destiny as well as teleport. Gold card will lock down Kryze. He's not used that ultimate just yet. Finally fires the trigger. That's a flash away from Kryze. Kaiser jumps into the fray. Locks down Markoon. Defensive flash away. Nukeduck's trying to look for another back. The Crescent comes out. The flash from Advienne, but there's no damage to follow up. That was a fantastic engage that nobody was ready for, and nobody goes down.
wow, it was literally everything and the kitchen sink thrown into this fight. The Destiny, the double TPs, trying to get something going, and no one is just going down. And again, you see this pattern, we mentioned the double Robin coming into life right now, and all teams playing so seriously. They're all laid back, they all don't want to make mistakes, they don't overextend, and even though Advienne had a fantastic engage, there was just no damage left. Patrik was in the bot side, and that's pretty much your damage right now.
It absolutely is. And of course, you know, when we see that engage, when you see Advienne coming in to the roster, the question in my mind, just as a question, is how the communication plays out. You know, he had that fantastic flash pulverize, but nobody else was ready for it. And I'm starting to get nervous here for EXCEL. I think that Mad Lion's composition to me looks like it has a few more options, and right now Armut will try to hop away, manages to use the flash. The chase comes out. Gnar will just about pop. Not yet, as Markoon will secure the kill. That's the second for EXCEL. It should secure the tower as well. And it's EXCEL putting all of their eggs in the Patrik Draven basket.
I don't think it's worth it if you get bot lane tower and then your mid lane falls, because mid lane is just so important, and Nukeduck has to burn his flash right here because he walked in territory that wasn't his. And look at that, Mad can punish with the mid lane tower, which is so important. Getting vision away from a LeBlanc that wants to play from a flank, that wants to find opportunities, it's just so detrimental to how EXCEL wants to play the game.
Yeah, it really is. EXCEL have thrown so many jabs, haven't really connected yet. Now, they do still have kill lead and a minor gold lead. We're setting up for potential dragon engage. Kaiser has that ability, the ultimate available. Will connect to the Zenith Blade. Solar Flare comes out, and Advienne's trying to buy time. No ultimate just yet. He needs a few more seconds, and Markoon will be taken out by Carrzy. That's a flash away, and Patrik goes down as well. There's a reply back onto Carrzy, though, but it is EXCEL running for their lives. The Mad Lions have got so much damage, but Kryze in the back. He's trying to do what he can. Elyoya stays alive a few seconds longer, and the rest of Mad Lions come to help out. This is a 4-on-1, and the Mad Doctor can do nothing but run for his life. Every single Lion is hunting, and that will be an ace for the Mad Lions.
Yeah, and that was such a huge mistake going for that dragon. You do not need the first dragon. Matt had just come from the base. Look at all their mythics in their inventories. EXCEL didn't have many of those, so they couldn't take the fight. Patrik has no mana at this point. If you look at Nukeduck, has half his HP and almost half his mana pool as well, and they get chased away. By the time the teleport comes in from Kryze, the fight is already too late. And again, Kaiser with the beautiful spot-on engages to try and get these opportunities for his team. This man has been on point.
Yeah, he really, really has. And you can see just how the Mad Lions composition comes together. They managed to land all the CC and engage. While that's happening, by the way, in your picture-in-picture, it was an attempt onto Humanoid's life. It looked like he escaped with it. But I love the way the Mad Lions played that fight out. They use every single ability in the kit, and very crucially, like you said, no mana on Patrik's Draven. Yes, he had an 8-minute mythic, but it didn't go further, and Patrik got to do 500 damage that fight, whereas Elyoya, who had been relatively quiet, he farmed up to a powerful point and found the time to have impact.
Exactly, and you want to play the team fights if you have the Diana, if you have the Gnar right there, a powerful Gnar into a powerful Diana ultimate, or vice versa, could be completely what changes a fight either way for EXCEL or Mad. So I feel like Mad do have the tools to go in, whilst for EXCEL it's going to be more a little bit pick who you want to take off of Mad Lions, but then be careful when it comes to team fights, because the Draven is a very specific way to play them, and without his summoners available, he can't walk in.
No, he absolutely can't, and of course that's another tower secured for Mad Lions. I have to now start asking about like the scaling side of things. There's already 2 dragons for the Mad Lions, and they will have to deal with the Mundo, but I'm less afraid of a LeBlanc and a Draven as we go later in comparison to the likes of Diana, the Kalista, and the ability that Twisted Fate will have. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly my problem as well. Like, Mundo will run in your face, but then Diana will just jump the backline. Twisted Fate can just TP in the backline. Kalista can just throw Leona into the backline. Gnar can just do the same. They can all just ignore the Mundo, except Carrzy, unfortunately. But they can just dive the backline, decimate Patrik, decimate Nukeduck, and then if you only have the Mundo to deal with, you deal with him at the end with all your members. So you see that EXCEL are starting to slowly but surely pull a little bit back. That Mundo is not ready to frontline, and they've started to lose fights. That gives a lot of money over to Mad, and especially it's so important that Carrzy has his shield bow available, because that means that all the damage and all the assassination potential from Nukeduck is just going to be negated that much more.
It really is. I love what EXCEL tried to do. You saw how much focus there was on Patrik, and I think even more impressively, Mad Lions were able to deal with it. Humanoid stays alive just long enough. No support just yet. Stays alive significantly longer than expected. Finally goes down to Markoon, but he actually denies the kill from Patrik.
And that's always what we talk about when we talk about Humanoid. They're like, oh, Humanoid dies. Humanoid actually has the second most deaths in the league under caps, right? But it's how he dies. Yes, he gets there, but what does he get? Flash from Markoon. That means in the next big fight in 2 minutes, Markoon won't have the playmaking potential for a fight in the river for the Dragon. What else does he get? He also denies the Patrik the kill.
Yeah.
And also, whilst this is going on, he earns time for Armut to push down the bot lane tower, get solo XP, solo gold, solo CS, and the tower.
The level of control that Mad Lions have had, the resiliency from the pressure, despite Carrzy being pushed so far behind, he's the one with the bounty right now. Armut, Elyoya, Kaiser, they're going to look for Kryze, or at least just pop down the herald. There we go. Missed that one that was picked up just a moment ago, and this will just allow Armut to continue to push. Mad Lions don't care about this Draven at all anymore. They're playing the map, they're playing the towers. They're going to pull even further ahead, 4 towers to 2, and a 2,000 gold lead in what feels like the blink of an eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was due to that one fight that happened at the Dragon Pit. The fact that in the dive bot lane for EXCEL, they let their mid lane tower fall. That means that all the line of vision for Mad Lions went even further in. Patrik has to be twice as cautious as he had to be before, and especially when he doesn't have his flash available, he can't even approach a wave to try to wave clear because he's such a short range ADC that he could get engaged upon at any given moment. And right now the lead will start getting larger and larger and larger for Mad Lions.
Now, fortunately for EXCEL, that flash should be available for the next Dragon fight, and it's 2 items completed for Patrik, but he needs to have an influence. There's already 2 dragons in Mad Lions' back pocket. Kryze is pushing the bottom lane, Patrik is pushing the mid lane, and both Humanoid and Elyoya are on the top for now. Do Mad even want to contest this? It doesn't feel like it yet, but they may make a move. There's still 25 seconds, Trouble.
They don't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
They already have 2 of the dragons, fine. If the pathing didn't work for Elyoya, if he wasn't there just in time, it's fine. Just concede this one. They're walking into absolute darkness, and this Mega Gnar is going to be Mini Gnar in very, very, very shortly. Just push down the mid lane wave. The top lane is pushing for you. Just play with your waves, play with your advantage there. Kryze is taunting them. He's like, I'm here.
He really is.
They're losing another tower mid lane.
Again,
Do the Dragon EXCEL.
Mad Lions just playing the map. Absolutely fantastic here. Even if EXCEL pick up the Dragon, there's still 2 to their name. Destiny is going to start to get channeled. Information is gathered. Dragon is picked up by EXCEL. That will buy some time. Kryze gets caught up by the solar flare. Needs to use the maximum dosage, and it does not matter. The rest of EXCEL jump into Mad Lions, but they can't find the damage. They can't connect it to a single target, and Mad Lions pick up 2 kills.
And I want you to look at how much damage Markoon and Nukeduck did in this fight together with Patrik, because I'm going to tell you, probably very close to 0, because they couldn't touch anyone the second they were split. This is the split decision-making that Mad forces you to do. They're like, cool, we don't have to go for the 3rd Dragon because we already have 2. They go down mid lane, they take your second mid lane tower, and then they force you to make a decision, and EXCEL split themselves up. And Destiny, again, so important, giving vision, showing that to Mad, making them take that step forward for the fight.
The thing that feels so like frustrating here is that EXCEL's comp could have worked had Patrik or Draven been able to get further ahead.
I don't know why these 3 are actually there. Nukeduck should only be there, being the 3rd on the side lane. Kryze, yes, you have the Banshee passive, but once it's down, you're actually gone. Advienne with a 5-man knock-up right there, but look at Patrik. 1 auto-attack, Markoon 1 Q, Nukeduck, I think 1 Q as well. You can't walk into them.
No, they can't. Mad Lions too far ahead. They got the item advantage, they had control, they were the ones sort of starting that fight. And just to kind of finish that thought before the replay, had EXCEL been able to get Patrik further ahead and then literally just brute force, use that binary, Dr. Mundo run, Dr. Mundo smash, backed up by a very fed Draven, it could have been a different look, but it's simply not the case. Mad Lions, they were able to hold him back and do enough damage control that now they have the Baron buff, and once again, they've played the map and the tower game significantly better. It's 5-3 right now, Trouble.
Oh.
Engage. But where's the damage right now? Armut teleport is available. The root will land. Advienne continues to remain locked down, perma-stunned. He's still got the ultimate up, and Armut's now flanking with a minion wave in the top lane.
Yeah, and look at the position of Nukeduck. They tried to do something there with Nukeduck coming from the side, but it's always been the case for Mad. Macro, 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 macro. They managed to keep EXCEL in one place, split them up. Meanwhile, they're pushing another lane. Armut has been on a side lane for almost the entirety of this game, only comes in for clutch, Mega Gnar ultimate, destroys the fight, and then goes back to split push duty, and EXCEL cannot do anything because the win cons from Dragon stacking is just not with them. You can't force Mad to walk into you because you don't have the dragons and you've lost all your outer towers.
Yeah, you have. And Patrik has not been able to pull further ahead. I think he's got 250 adoration stacks. If he can find a kill, it'll be a big chunk of change, but good luck trying to deal with every single one of Mad Lions champions with a Draven. EXCEL just being picked apart and pulled apart. And this is such an important game. When you look at their win-loss record, 4-5 for EXCEL, 5-4 for Mad Lions. It was EXCEL that won the first time round. And the analyst desk was talking, do you get on the EXCEL hype train? There's a lot to be excited for. I like some of the things I was seeing in the early game, but unfortunately Mad Lions just had an answer for it.
I mean, it's so important. The mid-game is just so important on how good a team is gelled together. This iteration of Mad Lions went to MSI, had a very good showing. They talked about burnout, they talked about dropping screams, but here they're coming back this week and they're showing that they've got their stuff together. Yes, they fall behind in a lane, but then the way they played it, you mentioned it, they did not allow Patrik to get any more kills, to get any further behind. And it's not that Markoon didn't try, he did, yeah. But Kaiser and Carrzy played it so well. Yeah,
they really did. Carrzy, one of the players that's been quite heavily discussed this summer. Kryze is going to get jumped on, chunked to 50%. Elyoya will get burst down for now, but it's actually it's going to be Nukeduck that is taken out. Kryze forced to use that ultimate. Now 4 members of EXCEL are running for their life. The burst damage from Elyoya really outshining even that of Nukeduck for now. The engage coming out from Carrzy. That's a knockup onto Markoon. Advienne gets a multi-man, but where's the rest of the damage? Patrik forced to flash defensively, so is Armut. That's one more for Patrik. The shutdown is huge, but Carrzy and Humanoid remain untouched. 4 members of EXCEL. Can they continue the chase? Teleport is up for Kryze. Where are the wards? Nothing just yet. But that will just buy some time as the whirling death from Patrik picks up the second.
And what did we mention? EXCEL cannot engage onto Mad when they're all together, but if Mad runs at EXCEL, EXCEL can defend themselves underneath a tower. And that was so well played. I think this is the 4th multi-man knock-up we've seen from Advienne this game. This man is playing out of his mind.
Fantastic Alistar performance. And as you've highlighted so many times already, as long as Patrik has that flash, he can have an impact. We saw him flash away from Armut, and that's what allowed him to pick up the kill and then turn the fight around on the Mad Lions.
Yeah, and again, you see Mad Lions have the vision. They pop down the Destiny Humanoid displaying in the front. He takes the passive off of the Mundo, which means now he is CC-able. And then when Elyoya jumps in, Nukeduck sees an opportunity, but he gets stunned into players not seeing Kaiser. And this is where the chase happens, right? No Mega Gnar, no Leona ultimate, your Destiny is down. And Carrzy is like, okay, we can go in here, but they have a tower right there for EXCEL. And look at Patrik's positioning. No one can touch him. Advienne with another beautiful 4-man knock-up right there, keeping everyone underneath the tower. Armut tries to go in for the big Mega Gnar onto Patrik, and Patrik's flash gets him out scot-free.
Does that happen again?
Patrik doesn't have flash, I don't know.
Does EXCEL have the ability to claw back this deficit? Because it is still a significant challenge for EXCEL. They're down 3.5k. There are 2 dragons apiece. And of course, Baron's going to be up in a minute. And actually, let me rephrase this. Maybe a better question. Can Draven handle Gnar, Diana, Twisted Fate, Kalista? Is it possible as a champion?
With the way Advienne has been playing in front of his Draven, because if you see Advienne, he's waiting now for Mad to make the move, and then he engages onto them, protecting his Draven, not necessarily hard engaging for his team. So with the way that Advienne has been playing, yes, I see Patrik being able to play his game. My key here question is Nukeduck. Is he going to be able to find the flank? Is he going to be able to take down some of the HP bars, just so Patrik can then get the last hit on them?
Okay, I'll keep my eyes on the minimap and his positioning. Teleport is up for both Kryze as well as Nukeduck. It's Mad Lions that are making the first move towards Baron. If you look at vision, a lot of defensive wards here from EXCEL. They're not past the river. They'll be able to use that Scryer's plant to spot out some Mad Lions.
And they have the Skull Crab as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of tools available for EXCEL. Vision's actually very important here for them. But there is a
Humanoid keeps walking back and forth.
Oh, Mad Lions. How do they pressure this one? You start to get a little nervous, Because this gold difference starts to be less significant as the game plays out.
I think this is anyone's game. They have such key playmaking champions, the Lee Sin, the LeBlanc, then you have the Diana, the Twisted Fate, that honestly, it's whoever gets the pick first, whoever gets to make the big move first. It's literally anyone's game. Mad having the vision and no wards behind them for Nukeduck to TP on, I think is going to be very crucial for them to not get flanked on though.
Very crucial indeed, as well as the Destiny from Humanoid. So much free information. Let's look at flashes really quickly as we're moving into this fight. Markoon and Patrik on cooldown. Carrzy, Kaiser on cooldown. And we've got a classic classic Baron dance as both teams just pushing the vision back and forth. There's no supers to help push the lane out. We're 2 minutes from the Dragon. And of course, well pointed out there, Trouble. And it's Armut's flash unavailable too. His Mega Gnars have been very important.
Oh!
That is a very long-range engage. Will it come back to haunt Kaiser? Not just yet as Carrzy pulls him out to safety. That's the shoot back out, and now Kryze trying to step forward. This will be enough to pull the Mad Lions.
EXCEL can stop the Baron now.
The Baron. EXCEL have got priority on the positioning. Kaiser fired the Solar Flare. Do EXCEL pull the trigger? They're moving into the pits.
They absolutely do. There is no ultimate on Carrzy to pull back whoever goes in. There is no ultimate on Kaiser to try and get an engage. No flash onto the Leona either. They can actually try to get the vision and bait Mad in.
Okay, so EXCEL, they're not going to start the Baron. Just going to challenge the vision as you talked about. The information is the most important. Patrik, no flash available either.
They're waiting on that.
Just be the reset. 30 minutes approaching. A minute and a half until the next Dragon. There's still 2 needed for both teams to pick up Soul.
That is so impressive. The fact that they don't have the trigger finger from the side of EXCEL, having such playmaking champions, knowing that 2 crucial ultimates are down for Mad, it is so surprising. The restraint they're showing out here, waiting for Patrik to have his flash up and available is so important. Next fight could literally decide the game, and I'm honestly surprised with how reserved EXCEL are playing versus the spring champions.
Yeah, I mean, look, they threw a lot of punches and plays during the early game, during the laning phase. They didn't quite work out. Markoon's going to use that ultimate to kick away Humanoid, gets caught out by Kaiser. The rest of the Mad Lions make their way up. Markoon is taking so much damage, goes golden, so does Elyoya. Carzy's firing over the wall. Advienne hops over as well. Nukeduck is now trying to join the fray. Dashes forward with the Mimic, but it's Advienne that is going down. Carrzy flashes over the wall. The heal's used as well. Armut locks Markoon against the wall as well. Now Carzy's in trouble. He's under threat. The chain CC forces Patrik back. He's not going to be able to find the damage just yet, and so many health bars are going low. The chunks, the crits, Humanoid not taken down just yet. The Hourglass avoids it for Patrik. He's used the flash already. They continue to chase forward. This could be the fight that decides the game. Patrik is still chasing. Draven can't find someone to hit. All of a sudden, Kaiser's running for his life, and Kryze is trying to hit cleaver after cleaver. Finally, Kaiser goes down. But what a fight! Patrik just could not reach!
Everyone's playing in that choke point, but very crucially, Patrik never ends up going down. He hits, but he never dies. They keep their tank up, they keep Patrik up onto the Draven, and they get a pretty free Baron because Mad's health bars were so low that they had to actually back. So that was huge for EXCEL. That choke point took so many summoners and so many ultimates.
It really did. EXCEL are right back in this. They get Baron. It looks like Mad Lions. I don't know if we can even analyze that. The ultimate goes in from the Twisted Fate, and then it's literally a cluster of every ultimate and every summoner spell in the universe. You see that Advienne plays really well, trying to throw Elyoya and Carrzy away, trying to keep them away from that fight, but Carrzy sees the opportunity right there for the execute and flashes in. Keep your mind that Carrzy has flashed in. He can't play as aggressive as he wants anymore because now Patrik is on the offense, having his front line still right there. And you see that now Patrik is starting to play a little bit more aggressive. He will even flash in after Humanoid, but all the HP bars are so low, and Patrik is really, really healthy together with Kryze's Mundo. Yeah, he is, but he used the flash in that fight as well. So close.
Everyone used flash in this fight.
Finding the kills, but it did not work out. And what an exceptional turn. I think for both Markoon and for Advienne, the impact that they're having for EXCEL this summer is gigantic. Look at that! 7,700 damage, but conversely for Carrzy as well on the Kalista. Very good. This time around, the flash over the wall works out, gives the kill, but EXCEL, they're on the offensive. Let's look at the minimap. Armut is jumping forward. Gnar is available to him. And EXCEL flashless on Patrik, Nukeduck, Markoon. They need to be very careful here, Trouble.
no one has flash in this team at all. It's only Kryze, and it doesn't necessarily matter too much when you're on the Mundo. You don't have a heavy engage button for you, so they're literally going to play this back and forth. They're going to ping-pong their waves. For EXCEL, it's more advantageous because they have the Baron buff. They can push down the mid lane, and it's so important to get this tier 2 mid and open up the map for more vision for the side of EXCEL, because when the next dragon comes up, they won't deny that Ocean Soul for Matt.
They absolutely have to. Patrik, 3-1-4, 450 gold bounty, 4 items completed, and has the ability to siege. The Baron buff is still on, the engage is coming out. No one's going to pull the trigger just yet. That's the 6th tower secured, and it will be EXCEL in control of the gold for the first time.
That was a Hex Flash. My heart started beating really fast because I saw Kaiser going in, and I'm like, okay, that's a Hex Flash. And they have managed to turn the gold lead in their favor. It was 5.6k, and usually EXCEL don't come back from those.
No, they really don't. And huge credit again. I think we're going to keep calling out Advienne's engages. I think his Alistar has been...
Advienne has been a beast.
Hugely influential. And I think as well, let's praise Patrik. Patience and control on this Draven. I think the big team fights that have played out, he's positioned himself correctly and has had a very big influence. You could argue maybe unlucky in the previous fights. Maybe
also,
not.
We're going to give 100% kill participation to Markoon as well. He is the starter of every fight. He finds the opportunities, or the fight gets started on him, and he is able to convert it on that Lee Sin as well. So, honestly, again, I'm going to say it over and over, I'm so surprised with how much restraint EXCEL is playing against the spring champions of Mad here.
Okay, the game has reset at 35 minutes. Gold is even, towers are even, kills and dragons 3-2-2. This means in 2 minutes time, with the Ocean Soul available, EXCEL cannot concede that. And 30 seconds after that spawns, the Baron is up as well. Both teams have shown a willingness to go all in on these big objectives. Let's see the vision, let's see the setup as EXCEL, the first one's making a move here through the middle lane, maybe trying to set up some vision for the Dragon. They have to deny this from the Lions.
There are 2 opportunities for flank wards right here. There's 2 wards for the side of Mad Lions in the jungle of EXCEL. So if Armut wants to find the clear and TP in one of them and flank them with a big Megana, he could potentially change the fight for his team.
Of course, Armut 4-2-1 on that Gnar. For the majority of the game, has been playing side lane pressure, just pushing, forcing EXCEL to catch waves and respond to him. But every team fight, he's had enough threat. Patrik's flash is just about available. Nukeduck is looking for the flank. Keep your eyes on the minimap. Those wards are still up. Mad Lions, Armut starting to back. Are they going to try channel the TP, Georgia? Feels like it's building up to the fight.
He has the bar, he has the bar, he has the potential to do that. But if he does channel the TP, you need to make sure Mad is in position, and EXCEL are playing in their face with their big Mundo.
Nukeduck's going to jump onto Elyoya. So much damage! Is that the go button here for EXCEL? Sonic Wave will not find its target. Mad Lions start to back away. 30 seconds until the Dragon. Humanoid's able to sidestep the Whirling Death, and Elyoya is going to start to regen. Pick up the fruit. That burst damage from Nukeduck may not be relevant.
Look how well EXCEL are playing with pressure from their waves. They're making sure mid lane wave is always pushed. They have all the vision on the bot side of the map. Crucial. 2 wards still available for Armut's Gnar, but he doesn't have the bar yet.
No, Nukeduck's coming in from the side again, looking for Elyoya. That's Chunk. Humanoid's going low as well. Multi-man route. Patrik holds on to the cleanse, and Armut now starts to stack the Gnar bar. Elyoya's engage will force the flash away from Patrik. Advienne's trying to buy some time. Patrik's looking for the kills, but it's EXCEL that get knocked against the wall. The cleanse finally comes out. A massive Gnar forces Patrik to run for his life. Advienne is down. The rest of EXCEL are being surrounded and crushed, and with Patrik killed, it will be just Nukeduck, Markoon, and Kryze trying to hold back the Horde. The Mad Lions have got the damage, they found the targets, and they got through the support to take down Patrik. Finally, Kryze will be the last man standing, exactly as you talked about, Trouble.
And it's so important. EXCEL had to play the front to back. They had to wait for Mad to engage them. And when EXCEL think they have the right to do that, they get instantly punished. Always so so well played again for Kaiser. His re-engage right there was absolutely beautiful, and the way Humanoid found these gold cards into the game, you'll see they take the flash and the cleanse really early on from Patrik, and then they just run it home. No one even touched Carrzy. They got the soul, but it doesn't matter because they can just end the game.
Yeah, they absolutely can. The control and the patience on that crowd control from Mad Lions, it will allow them to push into the Nexus. They will take the first turret. They will look for the second as Patrik and Advienne try to hold back Mad. They will find themselves a kill into Armut. The Nexus turret has fallen. The Nexus is being focused down. I don't think there's enough EXCEL members to stop it. Mad Lions avenge their loss against EXCEL. But I tell you what, that was a scary looking EXCEL.
It wasn't clean. You know why? Not because Mad didn't play well, because EXCEL showed up.
Ooh, are you on the hype train? That was the question the analyst desk asked. I think I'm buying in. I think I'm buying in. Of course, this means the head-to-head between these two teams is now at 1-1. Coming into it, Mad Lions are 5-4. They are now 6-4 as we start the second half of summer. You guys on Twitter can vote for the key player of the game, Armut, Humanoid, and Kaiser. But it was a very, very interesting game to watch, especially with how focused and how much resources went into Patrik.
Yeah, absolutely. And then how beautifully the bot lane of Mad was able to withstand all that. They were calling Elyoya. The reason we didn't see Elyoya on the map trying to pull out ganks was because every time he was protecting Kaiser and Carrzy to push out their lane when they didn't have a flash, he was their bodyguard until they knew they could press the go button. And honestly, guys, just vote for Kaiser. He was absolutely insane on
There we go.
Leona.
You heard it from Trouble. We'll get more action in the LEC in just a minute as Vitality look for a big win versus Fnatic with their new top laner. What a great performance.
Right?
That was awesome.
The planet and us are connected. We share its veins. We can continue to clog them, or do something about it. By using millions of recycled plastic bottles in our new generation of durable washer and washer-dryer tubs, we reduce plastic waste from leaking into nature's veins. Discover Beko Eco Tub washers and washer-dryers for healthy living on a healthy planet.
Welcome back, everyone, to the analyst desk. After a very hotly contested game between EXCEL and Mad, and the key player of the game was the two-time TCL champion, Armut. I mean, he was super instrumental, especially when it was getting a little bit close for Mad in those late game team fights, Betty.
Yeah, it seems that he was given a lot of credit for this final fight.
Yes, a lot.
I will say that it was very closely contested. I was super impressed with what Kaiser was doing. I thought a lot of his engages were very crisp, but I think that we got to see once again the proficient Mad team fighting skills. We saw it last week against Rogue. We saw it in the playoffs multiple times last split, and I feel like that whenever it comes down to playing the 5 versus 5, this is just one of the best teams in our league.
Yeah, what you saw from them here that was really, in particular, great was they triple layered CC onto Patrik, right? They got Patrik's flash with the initial engage out of Elyoya. They then managed to get his cleanse with the Gnar going in, and then Humanoid flash gold carded him to make sure Patrik could never have an impact in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. That was very well played. I think, again, it's been said already, but to reiterate, EXCEL was definitely in this game at many points and a great performance, but Mad walk away with the victory, rather. And next up is Vitality versus Fnatic, and we are going to learn more about these teams in our next game. True or false? So I will give our experts a statement, and it's up to them to decide if it is true or false, and everyone at home can also join in by spamming true or false in the chat.
50-50 odds. I like
ready?
these, Betty.
Yeah, my chances are pretty good. So
All
let's
right,
go.
here we go. Statement number 1. Shigenda has 2 EU Masters titles, of course, coming back in for Vitality today.
False.
I'm pretty sure that's false.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Why?
sure it's false as well.
Mainly because Shigenda played in the Prime League?
You look at me as if I believe
but
he
so,
did. Yeah.
So
No.
I seem to recall
No,
him-
wait, where did, no, he played for Vitality B.
Yeah.
And Vitality haven't won, and the French winners at LDLC and Misfits Premier won, didn't they?
Misfits Premier.
So then he wasn't on either of those 2 teams. Therefore, he hasn't got 2 EU Masters
It's
titles.
SLT that played for Big then.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
it's SLT that
okay,
played for Big. But it was indeed false. Really good question. Starts off.
Good logic, Betty. Good logic. Well done.
Shigenda is coming back today, of course, and SLT is not for Vitality, so we'll see what happens. So, statement number 2 then, since it is Vitality versus Fnatic, Shigenda and Adam have faced each other at the EU Masters. This is so hard to remember, though.
I think that's also false.
Yeah, because I don't... Okay, so they may have done in previous years,
No,
but I thought this is
was
Adam's first year
Adam's
with
first
Carmine
EU
Corp, right? And then
Masters,
Carmine Corp didn't play Vitality B.
Yep.
Therefore, even though EU Masters, great region, these guys haven't played each other before.
EU Masters,
In
great
EU
region.
Masters.
Great. Yeah, in EU Masters. They
I
haven't.
think that's false.
Where would they have played? Oh, in LFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct, it was false, but I do like that you've given us kind of a bit of education about the players. It's almost like it was designed that way. Statement number 3, Bwipo is leading the LEC junglers in damage per minute.
Okay, let's reason this one
I
out.
think that's true. I think that's true because I know that Bwipo, well, so Fnatic is probably one of the bloodiest teams in our league.
definitely.
They are, absolutely.
So just as a result of that, he is probably involved in a lot of the bloodshed.
I agree with you. However, I think you need to take champion pool into consideration as well.
But who would have a higher damage per minute
No,
than
so
him?
I think I'm agreeing with you overall because he's played Karthus, he's played Rumble, brought out Volibear as well. Like, all of those are relatively high DPM junglers. And so I would put him up there. I wonder if someone like...
I'm saying true.
Yeah.
It's correct.
Yeah.
It is true. And chat is apparently 2 for 2. I think they're 3 for 3 now, so they're doing very
They're
well.
just listening to us and then typing in the answer.
Bwipo with a flying start in the season, and now again up against Selfmade. We already had the storyline because they have already played each other, but it's always nice to see what will come out.
For sure.
Yeah, and especially since I think actually Bwipo at the moment is the...
Well, the
looking like
highest
the
damage.
better of the 2 junglers, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like, Selfmade has some really good early starts, but Bwipo overall, I think, is having a stellar rookie jungle season.
All right, chat 3 out of 3. Casters also 3 out of 3, so maybe this can make it this. Thank you, Kevin. Statement number 4. Upset is the player with the most points in LEC Super Fantasy before today. Oof.
That's tough. I don't even know how they award points in LEC.
Okay, so wait, you never played before?
No,
You've definitely played before.
I haven't played Super
Playing
Fantasy
good
at all.
usually
Okay,
is
so
good.
basically, there are like these multiplier things, right? Now, the multipliers are kind of RNG in my opinion.
So do
but
we ignore
basically,
multipliers?
like, kills are good, deaths, low deaths are good.
Okay.
So do we think that Upset is getting high kills, low deaths?
No.
You don't.
I think he's getting high kills and medium deaths.
Because the question is, do you think that Upset is the player with the most points in LEC Super Fantasy? So he would be competing with like a Reckless.
All right, 5 more seconds. 5.
VTO actually has...
I'm going to say
3.
false.
I'm going to say false. I think it's VTO.
It's true.
Oh,
Did the chat get it right? Did the chat get it right?
We can't tell if the chat got it right. They're just spamming through. There's probably some like weird champs in there as well.
Oh no, they also got it wrong. But now that you asked, we actually have...
Not as smart as us.
We have a couple of interns that we keep in a small room that just go through all of the chat as they come in.
Hey, don't talk about Cadril like that. He works very hard.
Okay, statement number 5. Fnatic have picked the most unique champions in the LEC this summer.
So I know that Treats and Gen X are actually 2 of the highest individuals.
Yeah.
But then the mid, bot, and AD supports do not.
Do not vary that much. So what have we got from Fnatic? We got things like the big variants are like the
has
Pike.
played a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Upset has only played Kalista.
When it's been available.
That's a good point.
Sorry, so who is it? Fnatic have the most unique champion.
I'm going to say false.
Will we have a rift? Will we have a difference?
Wait. When you say unique, do you mean like that no one else has played?
No,
or
for
just...
them. I believe like...
So their total amount of
for them.
champions, how many different champions have they
Okay,
played?
How many? Okay, got it. I'm going to say that it's some kind of trick question and say it's true.
No, you're false. It's false. You're not false.
Yes! 50-50 odds. I love it.
Schalke has the most.
Yeah, I thought Kire with the Kindred might have
all right, statement 6, because we don't have a lot of time more left. Chat is spamming weird champ now. Vitality are leading the LEC in team fight deaths. Oof, sounds plausible, I gotta say.
I think that's true.
Here's the question. How much do Vitality team fight?
I think the team fight a lot.
So team fight is 4 or more champions on either side, I believe, right?
You're up 1 point, by the way. You have to...
I reckon that this is true. I think that Vitality...
Strategically, you'd have to say the different thing from him or you lose anyway.
Yeah, and Benny's already said true.
Wait!
I'm going to be kind. I'm going to say it's false, and I think someone like G2 might have the most.
It's true, so you're tied, actually. Also, just because this is still a segment that is meant to build up the match, we've learned Fnatic good at team fighting and have great flexibility, but not as crazy as a team like Schalke, so we could see what comes out in the draft. Secondly, Vitality not doing too well in those team fights, and I think that is probably the essence of this match.
Also, Upset Mr. Consistent, it seems. Like,
no surprises.
All reliable, and obviously he has been praised as a very talented AD carry for a long time, but it seems that he is just a very reliable, consistent DPS dealer that's, in the conversation for one of the best in the league for sure.
Yeah, and I think coming back to the first point as well, Shigenda coming back is a big thing for Vitality. His champion pool isn't too different from that we saw from SOT, but he has been having a really good performance in the LFL. So hopefully he can have a good laning phase and keep things on an even keel in that top side of the map.
Oh, I love the theme. We're learning by playing games. I love it. Well, Vitality, as said, they're bringing Shigenda back for this week, so we'll see if this is what it takes for them to return to form in our next game. We'll be right back.
You only want that game, isn't it?